Hey everyone, so last video we jumped in, we started to do some visual effects breakdowns for the Harry Potter series. In the previous video we focused mostly on the Priori Incantatem spell used throughout the series, but today I'm going to break down more specifically the smaller spells that are used throughout the series, mostly through the latter half of the series, starting during this scene from the Order of the Phoenix. I like to break these down because there's a specific formula that they use for all of these basic wand spell effects going forward, and that's what I'm going to break down during this video. Before we get started, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I post every Sundays and Thursdays. It'd be greatly appreciated. And with that, let's get started. So I like this scene a lot because this scene sets the tone of, simple Harry Potter wand effects going forward. Obviously I had a lot of director changes, a lot of editor changes and stuff over the years, but really for the last 4 movies of the series and for the Fantastic Beasts series, they kind of had the same director and they've also kind of had the same group of people doing the effects. So this is kind of the scene that sort of defined what these wand effects were going to look like. Before they kind of just looked more like, glows at the end of the wand and then something would move, more kind of practical, but now they established the look of a lot of these effects here. So if we look very close up here with the effect coming off the wand here, it's honestly very simple the way they did it. When you're watching it happening, it looks really cool, it looks really complex the way it's coming out and the way it's hitting, but if you look closely, it's really kind of simple here. All it is like we said before, there's a light source at the tip of the wand, whether that's lens flare or just like, a glowing white solid or something. And then there's a kind of an amorphous fractal noise layer here. And obviously each spell has kind of its own color attributed to it. Most of these spell effects kind of follow the same formula here. So you have a light source and you have sort of an amorphous fractal layer and you have some distortion put to it. If you look closely here, you can see kind of the wand is distorted here, sort of his face is distorted here. That's probably just kind of an adjustment layer that they used here to add distortion to this whole effect here. And obviously, it's got glow and color to it as well, according to what effect it is. And probably, I'm sure on set, what they did was for every effect that they did, they had lighting on set, flash and cover the faces and stuff. And probably a little bit even in post, what they did was add some more of this lighting popping out and see kind of the same formula happening here out of Harry's wand here. It's just this amorphous kind of fractally sort of bubbly type of effect coming out of his wand with the light source and a little bit of dust added in as well. Same thing with Sirius's wand here. It's just a little bit of that, and you throw that on for a couple of frames, and then you don't really need any travel time between. You don't need any travel animations. It just goes from one side and then it hits the other side right here, and it does something very similar when they do the block. They make it a little larger and they add kind of this bulging like effect here to make it look like there's an invisible wall here. They have more advanced ways of doing that you probably would use in After Effects or something, but it's something that's easily achievable, at least the illusion of it for sure. And they do this basically for all of the movies going forward. Even like the Fantastic Beasts movies kind of follow the same formula. And an easy way to show sort of the impact of the wand effects as well is to add a little bit of either practical or in visual effects, adding a little bit of that interaction with the ground or the wall or anything with some dust, some fog, and some debris layers flying as well. So to easily achieve this in After Effects, there's a couple of different ways to do it. We can go ahead and look at this series of events from Harry Potter Logic one more time here and see that we have a couple of different ways it's done here. This is a little bit more of a simpler, just kind of glow and dust hitting the post here. But you see that when we do the hit here, when it does the block, it's basically kind of the same formula here. We have a light source in the middle here. We have a fractal layer going around here, and it's liquefied a little bit. It's added a little bit of, I think it's vector blur to it. When you add vector blur to it, it makes it a little bit more liquefied. It's liquefied a bit, and it adds the bulging distortion here because it's a block as well, and it's got a little bit of particle and dust coming off of it. you know, that's the formula. Again, this is honestly pretty similar to what they do in the movies here with the light source, you know, moving forward for just a few frames, and you see a little bit of distortion there as well. And then you have the impact over here hitting with the same formula here, and the dust effect off there as well to sell the impact. And again, right there, you know, you switch it up sometimes I switch it up in the movies as well, adding more of that kind of lightning sort of effect. But you know, it's always sort of that kind of same formula. You guys should check this video out. It's a funny video that we've done, like, gosh, like 4 years ago. It's crazy now. But yeah, I mean, even if we go back even further and look at Mudblood's Revenge, one of our even earlier videos, kind of sort of the same formula that we used here. And we even have sort of the apparating effect here as well, which is kind of cool. Sort of the effect here. So you see when it comes off of Joe's wand down here, it's just that bright fractal noise here and a little bit of distortion as well. Now, what I don't really like as much about these effects here is they're a little bit too sharp and they're a little bit too bright and liquefied, whereas you saw in the Harry Potter movies, the effects, they're a little bit more softer, a little bit more blurred, and they're less defined in their form a bit. And I think that helps blend more into the scene a little bit more. Honestly, what kind of looks best for these Harry Potter's effect is more of this sort of whitish, kind of cloudy looking thing. That's what they use a lot, a little bit, and kind of just variations of this. You want it to be more on that kind of cloudy white sort of spectrum here if you want to emulate kind of what they do in the movies. And what they did in the movies kind of looks, you know, the best. This is another funny movie that you guys, oh my gosh, this is another funny video you guys should check out. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what was going through our head when we shot this, but you know, it's fun. And Harry Potter effects, I think, honestly, if you're getting into visual effects, Harry Potter effects, trying stuff like that is something that I think is essential for you to get into and to try. It's one of those kind of core, you know, effects that you need to do, you know, like sort of like the cloning effect is something you need to do. Harry Potter effects is something that you need to try, you know, making fire appear in your hand is something that you need to try, you know, and doing like lightsabers is something that you need to try. It's one of those kind of core things you need to do when you first get into visual effects. So go out and, you know, get your camera, get a wand. If you're into Harry Potter, you definitely have, you know, somebody's wand or something. So go out and film yourself doing, you know, different wand movements and try to find, you know, different ways that you can make these effects. There's a lot of different ways you can do it now, even more than what I just described here. Go and explore. You know, there's tons of stuff on YouTube that you can learn. I am planning on going forward and doing a breakdown, doing an actual step-by-step tutorial on how I made these effects and how I would kind of improve on them in the present day now as well. So be sure to look out for that. Be sure to like and subscribe as well. I post videos every Thursdays and Sundays, like I said before. I do a lot of these visual effects breakdowns. So if there's any other movies or any other videos that we've done in CK Productions in the past, go ahead and comment those down below, what you want to see. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.